Naoya Inoue has beaten Joon, and yes, fourth round finish. Great finish there from Naoya Inoue, and he proves how good he is once again, and levels were shown as expected. I actually thought Kim stood his ground pretty well in those first 3 rounds. Obviously, he definitely lost those first three, but I think he was able to land a good shot here and there on Inoue. But yeah, levels were shown. Inoue's volume and pressure was too much for Kim in the end, and Inoue was able to get him out of there. Good body shots being mixed in from Inoue, good shots upstairs being mixed in. It was a good onslaught from Inoue to be able to finish the fight. He was very sneaky with the shots that he was landing. It was the pressure of Inoue. I mean, at times, Kim kind of was able to pull back and land a decent shot on Inoue, but I think overall, Inoue was very clearly landing the cleaner work throughout and much more comfortable in there than what Kim was. And Inoue always makes every single one of his opponents uncomfortable in there. I don't really remember any opponent that Inoue's been in there with who has been very comfortable in there with him. I mean, as I said, Kim was able to stand his ground well in those first 3 rounds and was taking shots well and was able to come back with a few as well, which was good to see from Kim. And even though it was a short fight, I thought Kim, Joon Kim, made a decent impression of himself on a bigger stage, and he was expected to lose anyway. But he told Inoue to bring it on, and Inoue brought his, put it on him and finished him. So yeah, there you go. That's why you don't call for more from Naoya Inoue. That's a bloody lesson. You don't call for more from Inoue because he's gonna only just put it on you. He's only gonna get even more vicious as the fight goes on as well. And yeah, just Inoue was comfortable in there from the off, showing levels. And at times when Kim was able to catch Inoue, I think it's because Inoue was getting into his groove really, and Kim. Kim saw some shots well when Inoue. I went in there and didn't really show Kim any respect from the off. And, that definitely showed. He didn't show Kim any respect as soon as the fight started. Inoue was on that front foot, putting that pressure on Kim, trying to cut the ring off nicely. And that's what he was doing. He's able to cut the ring off, back him up, land some decent shots, take his time, mix in a few good confusing feints. And yeah, it was a good job from Inoue, and it was a great finish from Naoya Inoue as well. He's just unbelievable, if we're being completely honest. And I've seen a lot of people on social media saying, "Oh, he's just beat a tin can." But first of all, Kim's a stepping opponent. Sam Goodman was meant to fight Inoue, but your Joon Kim, fair play to him, stepped up and took the fight, and gave it all he could. But a finish was coming from the off, if we're being completely honest. Inoue was just too clever for Kim and was always 10 steps ahead of him throughout that fight, if we're being completely real. Inoue had Kim figured out from the off, but as I said, Kim stood his ground well, and Inoue showed him no respect really, and that's why he did get caught with the odd shot where Kim actually looked good when he landed it. A few, so fair play. I don't think Kim was bad in that fight at all, but it was levels that were shown, because it was always Inoue who was mostly always coming out having the better of the combinations, the exchanges, sorry. Inoue always had the better of the exchanges. It was just the volume of Inoue, and he was able to land in sneaky shots as well, mix some shots upstairs, and then go downstairs with a nice sneaky shot. And during the finish, it was just the shots that Kim couldn't see, because the volume of Inoue was just different, if we're being real. And Kim just hasn't seen any of the onslaught that Inoue was able to put on him in that fight. Kim hasn't seen any of that before, so he was overwhelmed by it. He was overwhelmed by the volume of Inoue and the pace that he fights at. He makes it very difficult to think when you're in there with him. He's ridiculously awkward, Inoue is. He's very ridiculously awkward. But yeah, I think, a big question is as well, what's next for Inoue? What we're going to see happen with him next? Because, yeah, it was, did what he had to do, got him out of there in 4 rounds, made a statement for his next opponent. Inoue did exactly what had to be done and did exactly what was expected of him. You don't really see sloppy performances from Inoue where, he looks good one fight, then not so good one fight. No, Inoue's very consistent with the performances that he puts in. And that's why we all like Inoue, because he's very consistent with his performances, always puts on the performance, and the fans love to see it. He's a real good showman Inoue when he's in the ring, and that's what we want to see. He's not like a showboat either. He's just a showman with what he does, just his great natural talent that he's got, and the hard work he puts in as well. It's just a great show whenever Inoue is fighting, for being real. And and Japan are very good at putting on great shows, and like they are. They got some real good skilled guys. And Inoue's the top dog, if we're being completely honest. Okay, what's next for Inoue? It's interesting. It's interesting stuff, in my opinion, because I personally want the MJ Medalia fight. That's what I want to see next. This wasn't even really a proper good last fight to have at super bantamweight before he goes up to featherweight. He needs that MJ fight. Sam Goodman blew his chance, so don't give him that. And I really do hope that it happens, but apparently Inoue might fight someone in Vegas or something like that. So I doubt that would be MJ, if I'm being honest. But let's wait and see. I would, as an Englishman as well, I would like to see him in there with Nick Ball at featherweight if he does move up. Could that be a possibility? Apparently, Turkiana Sheikh wants to see it, so that's something good. But yeah, could we see Inoue in there with Casemiro? Possibly. Don't know, but look, we'll have to wait and see. I want him in there with MJ or Casemiro, ideally MJ, and then he can move up to featherweight. I feel like he needs at least one more fight down at super bantamweight, in my opinion. It's just for the fans' sake, really. If Inoue is feeling he is getting tight at the weight, understandable. He hasn't really got anything else to prove at super bantamweight, but a real proper fight for the fans, stylistically, is definitely Inoue versus MJ. That is a good stylistic fight. Even though Inoue has nothing left to prove, I don't think he's ducking MJ or anything like that. But there is. I do think his team want him to move up to featherweight, though. That's the thing. I think his team want him to move up to featherweight and don't want him to take that MJ fight, because they want him to move up to featherweight because they think he might be getting a bit tight at the weight now. That's what I think. But we're going to have to wait and see. Inoue's ridiculously interesting right now. He's a very interesting guy to match up now. There's so many possible fights for him. I've seen people saying, stick him in there with Tank. No, weight classes for a reason. Tank said that as well in a response. People say sticking Inoue in there with Bam. Weight classes for a reason. Inoue's heavier. So yeah, there we go. That's what I think. Anyway, thanks for watching.